Good morning. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are and whenever you're watching this replay. Um Today I wanted to talk about isolation. So sometimes our jelly prints may not be the best prints, right? And so it seems chaotic. And how does that chaotic idea reflect in our personal life? So, for example, you have a lot going on. You have family and children, and um, you may have older parents, whatever the case may be. You have work, you have all kinds of events. Like you're feeling like your life is chaotic. And so, uh, today we're going to look at isolation and how we separate ourselves from that chaos and make time for ourselves, but also how are we going to, when we're doing collages like I've been doing for the last 100 days, how are we going to separate that chaotic jelly print to make a collage? And we're going to do that through an isolation technique, if you will. So, with that, good morning, Christina. I hope Palm Sunday went well for you. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Is basically reflecting on how our chaos in our life, and don't get me wrong, when I say chaos, I don't mean something negative. I mean a lot going on. I mean, that's really what it means. And so it may not be organized, right? It may be coming at you from all different directions. And that's why I say it feels chaotic. So um, doesn't mean that it's negative. Maybe the feeling that you feel from all the things coming from each other to you may feel negative, may make you not enjoy it. But sometimes people really like all the different things that are happening to them, and they're able to compartmentalize or isolate um, each item. So let's dive on in to how that relates to our jelly printing collages and see and see what resonates for you when you create your art. All right. So here's some examples. All right. This example over here, and we created these collages together in previous lives. This example over here, the background is chaotic, right? In the sense that you got orange and blue and purple, and those could be chaotic in colors. But you also have these circles, right? And these circles represent pattern. And so you have organized chaos, as I would call it, right? So when we put this on a 4x4 canvas board, we drew and we isolated our focus, our eye of focus, from all this busy background to the focal point, which is here. Okay. So that's what I mean by isolation. Where can you take what's happening to your life and put focus on those things that you can control and not worry about the things you can't control, right? But also, where's your focus? And when you break things down like that and compartmentalize, it may seem better for you to organize your thoughts and the things you're going to go through. For me, I do a lot of compartmentalizing. Um, I can, be upset with one person, and then the next person, I don't carry that emotion over to that next person. I may be more normal because I've compartmentalized or I have focused my attention. So if you bring that to your artwork and your collages, when you have chaotic background, like here's another one, when you have a chaotic background, right? Like the yellow and the blue and all the, I mean, not the blue here, but the yellow and the purple, it was very much moving. I mean, I really like this background. Don't get me wrong. But we were able to draw our eye because I used color of orange with yellow and then some of this not transparency, tissue paper. Couldn't think of the word there. Tissue paper to help draw our eyes to the different areas. Now this one's not as focused, right? I mean, if you really think about it, this kind of blends in a little bit to the background, as whereas this really pops out. So, when you're doing your art, you may not find a main focal point. Now, I would say that the main focal point is this right here because this is a bigger square of color. These are just two little dots, and then the tissue paper kind of blends in. So, as whereas over here, the focal point is this whole area, right? So, that's what we're going to work on today is I have where did they go? I have some jelly prints. They are not the chaotic jelly prints that I was looking for. Not to quote a Star Wars thing or anything, but there's definitely a lot of movement here, color. There is a little bit of a randomization pattern here going on, but when we take this down and we put it on the canvas board, um, we may focus in this area right here, right? And so then that may not be so, as a whole, you see the pattern, but when you start putting this down, you may not see the pattern and it may become more chaotic. Here we have, this is one of those braille papers um, that was jelly printed on. Here you have a lot of randomization of color. You do have some order with the gel with the braille dots here, but then but they're I can't say that they're random because they do spell out words, right? But if you're looking at from an art piece, they are random. If you're looking at for the application of what this is, which is a braille piece of paper, well, we all know that those are words, right? And those are letters. So if we were to take this and cut this down, okay, we get some green and yellow, or we have some green, yellow, and blue over here. Um, and then you even have, like, if you were looking at this piece, right, you have some dark contrast between the blue and the white. So, just looking at the corners themselves, how random do they become? Or are they more focal? So we're just going to take those. So we're just going to take those things and cut them down and see what we have and how we're going to draw our attention and isolate focal points to our prints. I hope that made sense because I woke up early today. So I guess I must be like got enough sleep. Okay. So I'm going to go for this corner here and see what we get. I'll go over here. So, Christina, did you have a great Palm Sunday? Did everything go off with a hitch? Okay, this is a little bit thicker than copy paper. The burl paper is, so we'll see how that glues down. I didn't check that when I pulled it. Looking for my other line. Oh, there it is. Okay. Good. I'm glad to hear that it went well for you. Okay. I did do some die cutting, so we have some more different colored die cuts this time. It's not yellow and it's um they could be rather random, if I do say so, as far as like what jelly prints I used. So maybe the shape will give it more focus. It won't add more randomization, but we'll go over that in just a minute. So yesterday I had the privilege of joining this little group. They meet once a month to do art. It's kind of like back in the day when you used to go to scrapbook stores. If you did any scrapbooking, I'm a previous scrapbooker. Well, and I need to get back into it. But back in the day, um, you would go to scrapbook stores and meet with people and talk and fellowship and with scrapbooking and talk about families or what's going on in your life and other other topics of conversation. But and I do miss those scrapbook nights. They kind of went away when all the scrapbook stores started closing down. But I do miss that Friday night with the girls, if you will. um but in any case, this little group meets once a month on uh each month on a Sunday afternoon for an hour, to get together and basically have that fellowship, right? And do their art. It doesn't matter if you're a scrapbooker, a knitter, uh, collage artist. But anyway, I had the privilege of joining them yesterday, and really, and that's where I did my die cutting. So I didn't create anything. Well, I did. I mean, I did some die cutting. Um, but I really enjoyed it. And so if you have not seen the Serendipitous Crafter and her channel, definitely check her out. She does junk journaling, so she makes junk journals, and she has a craft connection once a month for you to come and do your art and be with other artists. And so I really enjoyed that. So I just wanted to let you know about Gracie and the Serendipitous Crafter. And, she is really embracing this once a month. I can't always make it, but when you can, it's pretty cool. So, oh, you had a local stamp shop that had open playtime. Oh, that's awesome. I don't know if this one might be a little bit difficult putting on here, but we'll find out. Oh, of course I didn't make it big enough. I knew I didn't when I cut it. That I didn't really make it big enough to wrap around the background, but we're going to make do. Well, we may have to get out the big old honking glue here. I'm making a mess. All right, let's go to the sides. We may have to come back on that. No, that won't work. I was thinking if I pressed it with the brayer, it would work, but I'm just have to get some glue out. Okay. You need something stronger because, again, it's not copy paper. Most of my gel prints are copy paper of some sort. I mean, the ones we've been collaging with, right? So this one was a little bit different. And the fact that I did not cut it big enough, is what I'm fighting with. So give it some space. I kind of knew that when I cut it. I was like, oh, that's not going to be big enough, but we'll go with it. So, all right, I think the glue is starting to do its thing. Okay. We'll just let that sit. Okay, yeah. It's starting to do its thing. All right. All right. So here we go. We have our two pieces. So, there's not really any focal point here. If you would say if this is a focal point, you would say probably this green and this blue that goes across there could be a focal point. Over here, my eye is drawn more over here, but it is basically chaotic throughout. So let's just go ahead and work on our, and try to draw some collage pieces here. So I did print out, that's yellow. I did have, I print out some more of these in different colors, but of course I had to do the fish net or the fruit net dye. And then of course I had to do the chicken wire, right? But then I also came up with some other pieces. We have some white that has, and the reason why it's a little shiny is because it has some foil, some iridescent foil on this gel print. So, so just some different pieces here. Like I have a big white spot here, some other items. And then I thought I had some big circles. I'm not seeing them. I forgot my other trays. So obviously we have the gel skins and then we have other paper, other gel prints. But I thought I would go back to the die cuts. It's been a minute since we had die cuts. And I thought we'd just go back through there and see what resonated. Some of these other pieces that we were not able to use, such as the purples and the blues. I'm like these blues here from the previous. Those would really, the contrast here is really nice. And then on this one, these lighter colors for the contrasting of isolating the or making the focal point or isolation of the piece. Now see, like these right here, you can kind of see that. These are the other ones that I had that we didn't get to use. That right there gets kind of lost. But how does it look over here? Yeah, it gets kind of lost. That one does. And I have some oranges. I don't know. I like the white. So I think we're going to go with the white. And what else do I have? Some other white ones. I'm just pulling these out for a minute. I think I definitely am going to go with the white over here to draw attention. So I'm just picking those out. I have some others, but what are these? Those are darker. That might may go with the blue on this one. So turn these things over, or the purple. I'm not sure yet. And you go over here. You're not in the right bucket. That's something else to think about. This blue, these bright blue pieces, that definitely I think works well. So we'll see. Someone asked me, how do you create without making it something, represent something? And it's just really intuitive. Creating is with these collages is intuitive. And how do you connect with your art? So that's really collaging, abstract collage. People go, oh, my 5-year-old could do that. You know what? Maybe your 5-year-old's connected in with themselves, because at that age they're all self-aware, right? And as adults we lose that. So we got all these other things going on. Um so someone had asked me, Sherry, how how do you just do that? And I said it's intuitive. And what I mean by that is I am being self-aware with my thoughts and my emotions when I create abstract art, right? I'm also looking at the fundamentals of art. It was kind of like in this blue too, though. So we may be going in different directions. I don't know here. I'm just looking at the right now. I'm doing what they call auditioning my work here and what speaks to me. The blue definitely speaks to me in both of these pieces. Really like it with this piece though over here, and I think that's because of the blue tones over here in this corner. But I also like the white. So we may be doing a combination of things. And so that's the placement of the pieces onto your art. And what what does it resonate with you on? Um do I like that? Does it I hate to use the word, does it feel good to have those pieces of art there? So that's, if you think about it, going back to that comment about, well, my 5-year-old could do it. They probably could. Only because the only reason why I say that is because they are going by in being intuitive, right? And they don't have all these other worldly things that are bothering them. They are in the moment. And when you're creating a piece of collage art, you are in the moment with your thoughts and feelings. So, and sometimes when I get quiet on our lives, that's because I'm in the moment with the piece, and it is hard um sometimes to be creating live and there's silence, and that's only because I am in the moment. So I hope that resonates. I'm not saying that a 5-year-old can make a great piece of artwork. What I am saying is where they're at. So don't get me wrong, okay? Where are they at in their life and in their world? And they're very much connected. They don't have that sense of duty and work and other things that we as adults have to deal with. They don't have that to deal with. So they also don't understand the fundamentals, right? So they may create art that's very chaotic. Maybe that's what they're feeling at the time, right? Just like everybody else. But as I'm thinking through the comments that I made, right? Um, there's definitely a fundamental basics of art that one must understand to create art. We just can't go out there and, I mean, we don't know what the artist is going through, right? But I bet that most collage artists are in the moment. Sorry, I was having a hard time talking and gathering my thoughts there. Okay, we're just gonna let that sit because nothing else is resonating right now on that piece. And that's probably why I do 2 at a time, because if I start spinning my wheels in one area, I'm ready to move on to the next because I'm not in a moment anymore. I also have some new circles and some new other shapes. Like that. Did have one little circle in here. Hold on. I gotta, oh, not in this one. In this one. I had one little tiny circle that I want to put in that spot. Now if I can find it. Oh, I didn't see this one. This one's kind of cool. Oh, I like this one as well. Oh, I can't get it up. My hands are not working. Okay, my little circle has disappeared. Oh, I want to find that. This is speaking to me in a different direction. It's the reason why I want to find that little circle. Okay, I guess I don't see it in my little piece here. All right, well, we'll come back to it. All right. That does not show very well. Kind of like the placement of that. So we're going to go with that. And what happens if we have this here and don't like that? Does not show. Tell me about this. What does this look like? Nope. I had some other pieces on here. I was liking. Maybe you're not the answer. I just threw that thing out of there. Okay, we're cutting this one in half. And what is this like? Ooh, like that. What happens if I put that there? And then we have this one here. And then what if we overlapped that? Or let's bring that back in here. Hmm. That does not show very well. Oh, my pieces is starting to start gluing down. Okay, maybe this goes over here. It's going to go behind here. Okay. All right. Still want the other white piece, but I saw some blue in here that I was looking at. And don't know. Not. I don't think so. What about? Ooh, I like this organic piece here. Okay. All right. So that's. Oh, you guys can't see it. Oh, sorry about that. There. It was off the screen. My so apologies. Okay, so I think that's what I'm going to glue down on this one. Something's resonating right here, and it's more of a picture, whereas this is more abstract. So this was really speaking to me. So this is probably the direction we're going to go in with this one. And with that, I will glue that down tomorrow. So with that, you may have a lot of things that are going on in your life right now, and where can you focus? And that's the whole point of this live, is really finding time for yourself, or finding the thing you need to focus on, and let the chaos in the background go away for a couple moments so you can focus. And when you resonate that over with our art, right? Be in the moment and create the art. I was in the moment just a few minutes ago creating this piece that I showed, and I did not realize it was on camera because I was in the moment. So, um, wasn't even checking the chat or anything. So, if you have a lot of chaotic things going on in your life, isolate yourself so that you can do that focus. And on your collages, where is your focal point? And so that's really what today was about, was where's your focus, and be in the moment. And so sure, a 5-year-old could make collages, and abstract art. But I have to and that's only because they're in the moment. Think about their age. They're in the moment. They don't have all those other worries to deal with. Now, is it as good as an artist who has fundamental backgrounds of art creation and what makes good art? No. But, abstract collages, because someone was asking me about that. Abstract collages is intuitive and being in the moment. And what are you feeling in your thoughts? And having experience in creating art and understanding the fundamentals of color and shapes and textures and all those things that go into what makes art is the reason why artists, collage artists, and abstract artists are successful, right? Because they're able to be in the moment, and they also have the experience and the knowledge of the fundamentals of art. So, could a 5-year-old create abstract art? Yes, but I would question, is it really art, or is it being in the moment of what they're feeling with? And so there could be a bit of a difference there. And with that, focus today on what you need to work on for that moment, and let the everything else in the background just fade away for a short period of time. And I hope you enjoyed watching Ratchet Up Your Art, and thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That really helps the algorithm, and comment below. I'm really interested in seeing and hearing your thoughts on abstract art. Is it intuitive for you? Are you able to stay in the moment? Are you able to put focus in your art? And with that, I will talk to you tomorrow.